Naruto 564. Okay. This has been this is going to be a discussion. Spoilers. If you haven't read it, please stop and go read it first. Okay. Before we begin, there was a lot in this chapter, but wasn't a lot of answers. And even the information we have is suspect, as we'll kind of discuss or as we go through it. Okay. Are we any closer in this chapter of knowing who Tobi is? I mean, the title of this chapter was No One. So are we any closer reading this whole thing? As a matter of fact, not only are we not any closer, we're probably further away because the things that he said, well, we'll just go ahead and go through it a little bit here. This isn't a pure review. This just meant, like I said, mainly to some discussion points and everything. Okay, you get to see a lot of tremendous abilities with Tobi's resurrected Jin Cherokees. Okay, that's new. That's something new. We get to see a lot of new abilities. We get to see the awesome combination of Naruto and B, which is phenomenal, actually. And they seem to be handling this pretty well. As a matter of fact, I'm actually much more confident in Naruto and B to be able to handle this and to get to Tobi than I am that the 5 Kagis are going to be able to handle Madara, because I don't. That's pretty much, I stated last week, I pretty much don't think they're going to be able to do it. But the entertainment value of this chapter is huge. A lot of times we get into this is probably something I'll talk about another deal, but we get into ratings and stuff, and this is, however you want to rate it, the entertainment value, if you're looking at it, is one of the factors, and this is enormously high, especially when Kishimoto starts when he starts toying with us. There's a panel where you start getting this. Tobi and Naruto are getting into a discussion after the battle. A lot of action, very good this week. Another really good deal. Another thing I like is the relationship between B and the Eight Tails. I mean, how well they get along together, and how horribly that Naruto and the Nine Tails have gotten along. I mean, I don't know. It's an interesting point, because the Eight Tails is actually like concerned about B. I mean, that's pretty I mean, that's just, talk about different. And then, but of course, there's the part where Naruto's like, "Hey, the other Madara," and Tobi's like, "Oh boy, really?" Or actually, he went a little stronger. He used some pretty rough words that he wasn't too happy with Kabuto. So we don't know. And then it gets, like I say, the author gets really has some fun with us, because in the one panel, and I love how he does this. He says, "Oh, so if you want to see what's under my mask, right?" And then right at he doesn't do it in the top or the middle of the panel. He does it right at the bottom of the panel. So you're like, "Oh, well, I'll just take the mask off," and everybody's like, and then you get to, of course, you turn to the next page, and oh well, you're gonna have to work for it. So I mean, what an epic. It was. I mean, I don't know. A lot of fun. The authors had a lot of fun with this, but it was because it's going to come out. I'm actually already kind of. I watched the series Lost, right? And you kind of already knew before the series ended that it was probably going to be, there was all these questions and all this stuff, and that probably by the end of it, you weren't really going to get as many. You didn't know he was going to get the answer was going to be. I wanted to go turn this into a thing on Lost, but it was pretty weak. So this, I think, will be a lot better than Lost, but still the anticipation. I mean, look, years. I mean, 564 chapters. That's a lot of anticipation. It's also a lot of material the authors got to work with to get us to anticipate. Okay, there's a whole lot to get through in this chapter. My idea, which got shot to hell on who Tobi was, is basically Tobi was an accident or a byproduct of the conflict between Madara and the first Hokage. Okay. That's been shot to hell because it seems, at least if the facts are as they've been put out, that there was a plan that happened before the battle. Okay. And also, it seems Madara didn't die at the battle, or I don't know. Like I said, there's still a lot we don't know, but it seems that pretty much that is that. There's been a lot of theories on who he is, who Tobi is, and one of them was the brother, and I just immediately, I kind of dismissed it because I thought, well, that would be too easy. And I mean, I have to be honest. That's not a bad theory. I don't have a. I felt pretty solid about my theory, which has been destroyed now. But I feel I feel basically there are theories that are more plausible, less plausible, and then things that probably just aren't going to happen. And even it's been mentioned by some other people, some reviewers and everything, that it could be anybody. It could be the Sage of the Six Paths. It could be this. It could be. I mean, it could be anybody. The brother seems. I don't want to use the word most likely, but he's a very likely candidate. Makes sense on a lot of. Makes sense on, and it's been, and it actually, the relationship between Madara being the firstborn brother and his brother is it's similar to what happened to the I can't remember the name of the family. It's the ones with the other eye technique. They can see through things, and Hinata is one. I can't remember. I can't get the name even remotely correct. But anyway, you know who I'm talking about. And it was the older brother, the younger brother, they had to give to another clan so that there would be another war started. And so there's already real super precedent that firstborn has got everything, and the secondborn has got all this massive duty to the clan, but no real power or whatever. So there's really a massive precedent that it could be his brother, Madara's brother. So that's really what it's looking like right now. And of course the thing about which has already been mentioned, the whole thing that he's trying to hint that maybe he was a host himself at Jin Cherokee and before, which is kind of an interesting thing, which could be, like I say, which could be. There's no the author can do anything that he wants. It's his story, and he can change it, right? I mean, he literally could go, wow, there's a different way I want to go with this, and he can do whatever he wants. So anyway, so our best, that's kind of one of the theories I'm going with. I guess that's his brother. It seems to be the strongest, but we really don't have one thing that we didn't get. Like I say, and even there's a whole lot of things I'm really skimming over or whatever. Okay, even the discussion between Tobi and Naruto, he's trying to manipulate Naruto, and I think maybe one of the things that seems to other people that I've reviewed, which I've picked up a lot of good information. Like I said, I put down in my comments other people, and there's a lot of other people too. You should be getting the reviews. But one thing that seems to be kind of skipped over, and maybe it's, I don't know. For me, it was a bigger deal. Is Naruto had been warned. He's like, hey, this guy isn't somebody you can befriend and connect to. This guy's just evil. And sure enough, Tobi is talking to Naruto, and he's trying to, hey, like, I'm a Jin Cherokee just like you, and the world sucks, and it's all a big downer, and all this kind of business or whatever. And Naruto, remember through the training on the island, having to face his own inner demons and his own negativity within himself and all that. He's been trained through the help of B, so that he wouldn't fall for that stuff, right? Kind of go for the dark negative side or whatever. He's kind of been trained. Hey, it's not so bad, And then of course the panel with Nine Tails kind of going, oh really? I'm not so bad, huh? So, but real entertaining. And like I say, there's a well, I'll go ahead and get into another little subject here on ratings, okay? Because there's a ton of things to talk about on this. Now, there's a lot of people who have different ratings and different scoring and different ways of doing things. A couple of things that I want to go ahead and throw out there is getting away from how technically correct something, how strong the story is, how many revelations, or how much action there was in thing. How entertained are you? You as the person reading, whether it's a manga, an anime, a TV show, a movie, or whatever. I would say that something doesn't have to score high in all these different categories. It has to be entertaining to you, right? While you're watching it. And another, right? That's what, to me, that's a category. Another thing is, especially with something that comes out weekly or on a regular basis, how much time do you spend thinking about? How much time are you going to spend thinking about Naruto, right? 564 this week after it's been released until next week. That's another big factor. How good something is. How much time do you spend thinking about who is Tobi and how they're going to do this and which battlefield are they going to go to and what? Because that's another thing. Something that definitely that gets brought out tremendously in YouTube and with the discussion and everything is, it's not just maybe you read something for 5 minutes, right? 5 or 10 minutes you actually read something, but is it really 5 or 10 minutes of entertainment to you? Because the truth is, it's probably hours, especially if you're discussing it. If you're reading, you're listening to other reviews, right? You're coming up with, you have your own theories. It's another thing. Another thing I really like, people talk about trolls and things like this on YouTube or on blogs or whatever, but people come out with a lot of really good ideas. Whether they're they come out to actually be what the way the author goes with it's another thing. But you get to listen to a lot of people come up with their own ideas, and you are coming up with your own ideas too. You're engaged on what's going on, right? The characters. There's some characters you care about. There's some characters that you don't. But that's all of this is going to a rating or whatever, which there's different ways to do it. But I would say that this is another valid way of looking at how much or how good these chapters are. Now, getting back to this chapter, okay, 564. How, excuse me, a little technical difficulty here. Okay, how entertaining was this chapter? Well, it was engaging while I read it. Okay, and your feedback on that, of course, is because you read it. So how much did you enjoy it while you read it? Going back to what we just discussed before, and now after you've read it, how much time are you spending actually thinking about it and engaged on the ideas, the characters, and the mysteries, if you want to call it that, of like who's Tobi and how these battles will come out. So I'm saying that is, I don't know, to me that's probably the biggest part of it. Now if somebody's into story creation, or if they're into more the art part of it, or what have you, then they're going to have probably more categories that they're going to add to it. And there's absolutely nothing wrong. The more dimensions somebody can look at something, the better. But I'm saying, as an average viewer or reader or what have you, of somebody that's consuming this material, maybe the just kind of a base enjoyment factor may be enough. Anyway, I wanted to go ahead and have a little bit more. I wanted to make a separate video on that, but I go ahead and combine the whole thing. Okay, this has been a great chapter. Once again, thank you to my subscribers. I really, it's your option to subscribe or not to, and I appreciate all my subscribers. And if you would please, I'm an amateur reviewer. I'm a fan. If you would give me a thumbs up, that would be awesome. Okay, and until next week, take care.